Hello friends, welcome to Delsoka. My name is Delali Frank and this is News Daily where I serve you with all the major trending news in the last few hours. In today's edition, we're going to talk about the Ghana Football Association who has established new national teams. We're going to talk about the national teams, the details of it, the reason even behind it, the coaches that are going to lead these national teams. We're also going to talk about Ghanaian players and their performance in Europe. Ghanaian players are still scoring. We got some Ghanaian players in US. Joseph Painstil has scored again. Inaki Williams was in action. Andre Ayew was in action. Jordan Ayew as well. Arsenal seems like their title run and also Liverpool's title run is that we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all actions as far as the weekend football is concerned. We'll wrap up with results from the Ghana Premier League as well. So it's going to be a long journey and a packed one for that matter. As usual, my name is Delali Frank. If it's your first time here, hit on the subscription button. When you're done, leave a comment in the comment section because I'm going to give you shout outs. I'm going to give shout out to those that comment on this video. Without wasting much time, let's get straight into today's news. So let's start off from the national team. So the Ghana Football Association earlier yesterday announced their new strategy or their direction so far as women football is concerned. So somewhere last year, the Ghana Football Association announced a women football strategy, which they had Asantwa as a mascot for this particular strategy. The strategy is geared towards developing women football. They're giving themselves from now to I think 2026 to have a proper and a robust national team as far as women football is concerned. Now, the new decision that they have taken is that they formed some few national teams to join the one that we already have. We have maidens, princesses, and then the Black Queens. Now, what they have done is that they formed intermediary national teams to feed the senior levels and these international national teams with players. So we have the U17, which is mandated by every national team to have. FIFA has U17 World Cup. We have the Under 20 World Cup or the Under 20 national team, and then the Black Queens. Now they have formed the Under 16, the Under 18, the Under U19, the Under 21, and then the Under 23. These intermediate national teams are there to feed the major ones with players. So we're going to start with the U23. The U23, the head coach is going to be the experienced Messi Tego. You know Messi Tego very well. Yes, he's a former player, former referee, and now a coach. Understands the women football pretty much well, and she's somebody who knows the game. She was a former Black Queens coach until Noah Hupte was appointed. So Messi Tego is now in charge of the U23, the one that we call the Black Meteors, the men's side. Now they don't have national names yet. So she's going to be assisted by Priscilla Dixon. The Under 21 is going to be headed by Dora Zuta, who's also a former player, and then assisted by Florence Amuzu. And then the Under 19 is going to be Anita Redu, assisted by former Kotoko player Daniel Nieje. Nieje is a former player, played Kotoko, went to TP Mazembe. He's now a coach and is now going to be the assistant coach. The Under 18 is going to be headed by Charles Anoche Frimpong and assisted by Gifty Ayew. Gifty Ayew is, I think, the assistant coach of Epiphany or so. Yes, Epiphany. She's a former player, played in Europe, and then she has retired and she went into coaching, and now she's going to be. And then the U16 is going to be headed by Benis Educhumwa and assisted by Linda Pra. One thing that I love is the fact that we have a lot of women leading these national teams. Gone are the days, almost all the national teams in women football in Ghana were headed by men. But now I think gradually we are having more women in coaching, which is pretty much because if you see all the coaches that I've mentioned, I think only two, Daniel Nieje and then Charles Anoche Frimpong, are the only male coaches in this particular appointment. So it's very good for the Ghana national team, very good for Ghana football. So don't get it wrong. These teams are a strategy from the Ghana Football Association to make sure that our national teams are properly structured and now we can feed the major national teams with players. It doesn't mean that they are going to play World Cups or they are going to play like international games. They'll be. I'm sure they'll be engaging in friendly matches. They'll be engaging in national team games with other teams. However, they won't be playing like World Cup. CAF hasn't introduced under 20 women tournaments. FIFA hasn't introduced under 21 women tournament yet. They haven't introduced under 19 women tournament. However, there's a need to bridge the gap because you see, when the girls play under 20, they don't get to play any other national team again until straight to the Black Queens. But usually the under 20 girls are young. So they are young, most of them are like 17, 16, 18 years. And you move them straight into the national team. And that has been one of our major problems. That's why we were struggling with the Black Queens because most of the times the players are not matured enough to go and play in the national team. But in the men game, it's not like that. There is under 20, there's even under 23, which is the Olympic team before the senior team. So there's that gap there. If you come into the men's football, same. And then there's under 17, there's under 20. Even in men games, some teams have under 18 too as well. So it's a very good decision by the Football Association to strategically develop these players so that they can go through the right process. So from under 17, you don't have to wait before you go to under 20. You go to the under 18, progress into the under 19, then you go to 20, 21, progress into 23 before you get into the Black Queens, so that we can have the core players. And the time will come, Ghana will come back and dominate women football. It's a pretty much great strategy. I think one thing that this current football association has been able to do is the decision to invest and make proper strategic decisions to develop the women game. And I think it's a great move that we need to give them enough credits. That's great. So let's talk about Ghanaian players and their performance in across the world. Let's start with Joseph Painstil, which is US. Joseph Painstil scored for LA Galaxy in their 3-1 win over Vancouver Whitecaps in the MLS League. Joseph Painstil scored a brilliant goal. Like I think the goal and the assist from the former Barcelona player was exquisite. The pass was as good as the run. LA Galaxy won by 3-1. Joseph Painstil scored a goal in that game and then provided an assist. And I think he has been nominated for Player of the Match award for his exceptional performance. Wish him the best of luck. He's one of them players that he's a winger but has a lot of goal scoring attributes that is very good for Ghana and for him as well. We're also going to talk about other players like Ibrahim Sadiq, who plays for AZ Akma. He's a very brilliant player, but when he joined them, he was struggling a bit, but now he has found his feet. He scored a goal and then provided assist when AZ Akma, or AZ Akma managed to win their game. I think after the game, he also ended up winning the man of the match. Let's come to England. We'll start with Thomas Partey's Arsenal. Unfortunately, Arsenal couldn't beat Aston Villa. Naomi came to Emirates and managed to spoil Arsenal's party, unfortunately. Prior to the game, Liverpool had lost, so it gave Arsenal a perfect opportunity to go on top of the league and boost their chances of winning the league. Unfortunately for them, they lost at home 2-0. Partey was on the bench, couldn't come in, he was not used, there was nothing he could do to help his club. Also, let's talk about Mohamed Kudus. Kudus played for West Ham United, and I don't know, West Ham United lost to Fulham. Fulham are a very stubborn side, especially when their season is coming to an end. When they meet you, they will surprise you. Fulham at home lost to West Ham at home lost to Fulham, and Kudus prior to that game was trending because he chose JJ Okocha as his greatest player, African player, because of his style and how he plays his football. He believes he models his game around him. And then he mentioned his best player he has ever played with is Emmanuel Danso. And I'm going to do a lot of research about him, and we're going to talk about him later on this channel. So Kudus side lost. It was unfortunate. Jordan Ayew and Jeffrey Schlupp in action for Crystal Palace when they managed to lead and beat Liverpool at home. Jordan Ayew played a few minutes in that game. He didn't last in the entire 90 minutes. Also couldn't get a goal. But it was a Jordan Ayew performance, around 6 points, 6.2, 6.0 rating for Jordan Ayew, because it's one of those games that you don't see him give everything. We go to Spain. Inaki Williams played an entire 90 minutes for Athletic Bilbao in their 1-1 draw against Villarreal. Remember, Athletic Bilbao has won the Copa del Rey and they were coming into this game as one of the title, like a team that have won the titles. Obviously, that's the players have enjoyed themselves, so they can't really compete at the highest level. But Nato Williams could play the entire 90 minutes for his club side. Mama Idris also saw 17 minutes for Ameria in their 2-2 draw against Royal Sociedad. And that's two Ghanaian players that we're going to talk about in Spain. Let's go to France and talk about Enes Nyama. Enes Nyama played 23 minutes for Lyon in their 4-3 win over Brest. That game was interesting. It was 2-1 against Lyon. They came back to score 3-2, 3-1, and then they managed to win it 4-3. A dramatic win. Caught in the middle of the season, Lyon was going on relegation, but now they've moved all the way to 7th on the league table, which is very good for them, so that the next number will get playing time in the French league. Andre Ayew also played as a captain of the Black Stars. He played 88 minutes for Le Havre in their 1-0 defeat against Nantes. If Andre Ayew continues to play like this, you know what that means. So he saw 88 minutes. Obviously, didn't score a goal this time around, but he's really, really pausing it. If we go to the German Bundesliga, two Ghanaian duo, Ransford Yeboah and Stefan Ambrosius were involved in Hamburg 2-2 draw against Magdeburg. I think Ransford Yeboah, a very good player, had a very bad AFCON, but I think we should judge him. The AFCON is more on Chris Hughton than the players who struggle to play. So I think if Ransford Yeboah continues to play like this, he should be given a chance. A very good player, if you ask me, but he was unfortunately used out of position and affected him. Let's talk about Usman Bukhari in Serbia. Usman Bukhari was in action for his side when they won by 3-0. They didn't score a goal, but he's a guy that's, him, very good, had over 7.0 rating as a player in that game. He's one player that you wish him to excel because, at this point, Ghana needs every player to excel in their club side so that when you bring them together, we can go ahead and perform. That's my wish and my prayer because we need our players to excel because we have a tough game to play. We have a very tough game to play, which is the World Cup qualifiers to play. You know what I mean? So we need our players to be balling at the highest level now. So, guys, that's all for today's edition. We talked about Ghanaian players and their performance. I talked about the Ghana Football Association establishing new clubs. I gave you updates as far as the Ghana Premier League is also concerned. As usual, my name is Delali Frank. Until we meet again. Bye bye for now.